Good evening, Cedar Falls. Welcome to our regular council meeting for Monday, June 5th, 2023. I'll now call this meeting to order with a roll call from Madam Clerk.
Schultz.
Here.
DeBoer.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
Harding.
Here.
Ganfield.
Here.
Sires.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
All members present, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. And if you're willing and able, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam, or the first item we'll have for tonight is approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the regular meeting of May 15th?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion from council? Any from the public? Okay, moved and seconded and requires, or all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Madam Clerk, do we have any agenda revisions tonight?
I have no agenda revisions, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. For special presentations tonight, I have one item, and this is for Chief Howard. If Chief Howard come forward. So here's my pen, excellent. So I came 3,000 miles to present this to you from the country of Kosovo. I was there for a sister city signing, and during that time, I met with the director of the police force there, and he wished that I present this to the Cedar Falls Public Safety, where it says, in recognition of new friendship with Cedar Falls Public Safety during Mayor's visit, May 24th, 2023, they ask that you display this in recognition of the friendship between our two cities, and they look forward to hopefully starting exchanges at some point in the future. All right. Well, so thank you very much. I'll give it to you as well. Thank you. Thank you. I promised I would do that, and now I have. Okay, we have actually no other special presentations tonight, so I'll move us over to public forum. Speakers have one opportunity to speak for up to 5 minutes on topics relevant to city business. Does anyone from the public wish to speak in public forum tonight? Yes, Ms. Beach. And also, as she's coming forward, if council doesn't object, I did a look into what the requirements are for providing an address. And from looking with the attorney, city attorney, and staff, there apparently is no legal requirement that people provide an address. Would anyone object moving forward that we not request address?
Is that name and address or just address?
They would provide their name, but not the address. And if you want to change it, we certainly can do that later on to add that back in.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I guess my thought would be at least have a city, because if somebody's not a resident of Cedar Falls and they're commenting, we would like to know that.
Okay. Does that sound all right with everyone?
I agree.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So just city only. So Ms. Beach, the floor is yours.
Okay, Rosemary Beach from Cedar Falls, Iowa. Is that all you care about?
Perfect.
Got it. Well, I'm getting here to talk about bathrooms and restrooms. And I think I said one of the last times I was here, you have within this building 2 perfect restrooms. Did you all go, or if not, go and open the door, go in and see how large they are, how well proportioned they are, how you can get a walker in and get in yourself, move around, get to the sink. However, you have them in this building. This building is not available all the time for everybody to use them. I assume they are public. I only want one just like that somewhere in this town where people can get in and use it. And maybe we already have it and nobody's told me. I just hope for that. But if you try to get into those bathrooms, and this is these restrooms, this is the problem. The doors are so heavy you can't get in. And I don't know if that is a policy, if it's what we have to do. But again, all I do is ask you to try it and come back with your opinion of what we have for restrooms for people who need help. And I'm assuming you're all going to age, and you all have grandparents, and you all have parents who need that help. And I'll be darned, I talk to people every day, and they say, that's a really good idea. We really should have bathrooms. We really should have that for people in this town. But I never see anything happening, and maybe it's happening somewhere off somewhere, and I don't know that. But I suppose I'll come until I be walking with the walker, and then you'll really see how it works out. I wish you would take it seriously and find a place for a public restroom in this town. I know we had pictures the last time I was here. They were really great pictures of terrible messes in bathrooms, things thrown on the wall, on the floor. Do you really, really believe that they would have that? We would do that here? You gotta be kidding. I'm sure that they were from some wild book somewhere. I don't think we need to worry that much about the caretaking of the bathrooms as just getting it done, one just built so we have it. Thank you. I'll be back probably. Who said that once? I'll be back.
Thank you, Ms. Beach. Does anyone else wish to speak in public forum tonight? Yes, sir. Name and city for the record, please.
Jeff Ream in Cedar Falls. My name is Jeff. I am a pastor of a brand new church, 815 Orchard Drive, and I brought along with me Chris Christensen. He's one of our youth workers, also an entrepreneur and business owner. Oh, hey, buddy. And Miss Rosemary, we have great bathrooms. Did she leave? We have incredibly clean bathrooms, and they're large, and you can get in. But we simply just wanted to come and introduce ourselves and say, we're here, and thank you for all that you guys do for the city of Cedar Falls, for this community. We're a church that is non-denominational, but it's part of our DNA that we want to invest in our community. We're not a church that wants to take from people. We want to give. And so we just are hoping that we can partner with you guys in whatever way possible. One of the things that we do is we do a Saturday Serve project where once a month, the first Saturday of the month, we get together. We have specific projects that are planned. We've gathered and we've taken mattresses and beds with Love Inc. and taken them to houses and apartments for needy families. Food drives, we do a free community breakfast once a month. And we just want you to know that we are here and we want to partner with you guys in any way that we can and just be the hands and feet of Jesus. Whether you're a Christian or not, doesn't matter. We're going to love like nobody's ever loved. So thank you for what you guys do. We appreciate you, and we hope to be able to partner with you guys in some kind of way. If you ever need anything, you need ditches dug, or you need an outhouse built for Rosemary, or anything, call us. And I mean that because we have hands and feet and muscle and sweat, and we would love to pour it into our community. So thank you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hello. I spoke with Stephanie this week regarding that. So we are going to partner with the city and do some projects with you guys. So let's be the hands and feet of Jesus. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak for public forum tonight? Seeing none, then I'll close the public forum and bring us over to staff updates. Director Rodenbeck is covering for us tonight for Mr. Gaines, who is out. Do you have anything you'd want to pass along?
Actually, I think Director Schrage has a update he wants to give the council.
I think you, Director Schrage.
Keep it brief, but QR codes downtown. We've briefly discussed QR code for a parking map downtown. We got those completed and installed in the last couple weeks. It's a 3x3 vinyl sticker. They are placed on the municipal lot parking signs. Not only does a QR code link you to the parking map, it also links you to the map of public restroom locations in the downtown. So,
All right, thank you, Director Schrage. Anything else? Okay, then that's the end of staff updates and takes us over to special order of business, where item 2 is a public hearing to consider entering into an agreement for private development and to consider conveyance of certain city-owned real estate to Technology Parkway Properties, LLC. Is there a motion to receive and file proof of publication?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Takes us to B, written communications filed. Do we have any, Madam Clerk?
I have no written communications on file, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. For staff updates, I have Shane Graham, our Economic Development Coordinator. So, Mr. Graham, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. On the agenda tonight is a proposed agreement for private development with Technology Parkway Properties, LLC. This would be for a new 9,600 square foot building in West Viking Road Industrial Park on Lot 5 of Industrial Park Phase 3. It's a 2.15 acre parcel located at the corner of Production Drive and Technology Parkway. There is an attached map in the packet. If council may remember, several months ago, council approved a purchase agreement with CF Storage LLC on the lot just to the west of this. And at that time, I think there was some concern from maybe several council members about this lot and the buildability of it. Not too long after that project was approved, staff began discussions with the developer here for this project. Found this lot, it actually works pretty well for them. It's kind of an odd-shaped lot, kind of along a curve of a road there, but would actually work out fairly well for this project. As I mentioned, it'd be a 9,600 square foot industrial building with a minimum assessed value of $750,000. The project would begin here shortly after approval. The developer's itching to get this started, so would like to get it started probably yet this fall. As far as any of the incentives go, the incentives would be for the donation of the lot at no cost. Because the valuation of the lot would be under $1 million, there would be no additional tax rebates or tax abatement incentives involved in this project. So if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Before we go into questions, does anyone from the public wish to speak on the item? All right, seeing none, then I will consider the public hearing closed and take us over to council. With that, it's 2E, resolution approving and authorizing execution of an agreement for private development and approving and authorizing execution of a deed without warranty conveying certain city-owned real estate to Technology Parkway Properties, LLC. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Open for council questions and discussion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Cyrus.
how many people will this place employ?
I think in the company profile, there is some information. The company owner is here if he wants to clarify. In his write-up, he mentioned that he's got currently 10, but with this expansion, would like to hire more. I don't know the exact number if he would like to answer
There'll be
that.
10 here. There'll be 10 at
There's
that
10
location.
current, yeah, and with the expansion, it's their goal to hire more. I don't know that exact number.
That's all. Thank you.
I guess, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Granville.
Shane, I have a question for you too. I guess, how is this, it's not drastically different in my mind to a private enterprise. The CF Storage you referenced, we sold that lot at cost, basically, to that development, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in this one, we're not getting in the employee ad, and it's not meeting the $1.2 million valuation. So I guess I'm wondering if that was something that we discussed, selling that parcel instead of giving it away.
No, well, we never, as staff never discussed that. I mean, it does fall short of the criteria for tax abatements. That's kind of a council policy on that. But as far as the use goes, it is a industrial type use or office use. He's got a professional office and staff, and does do repair of equipment, which is which we consider more than a commercial use like selling. He's going to have no retail activity at this site, so we looked at that a little differently than the CF Storage project next door.
Okay. And then just last question, what's the tax contribution going to be on this valuation? A rough guess.
I would have to, I don't know that off the top of my head, and that might be putting Jennifer on the spot. I probably have something in my file on it, but I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I mean, the minimum valuation, as you can see in the staff memo, is about $900,000.
Right. If memory serves, I mean, on like 1.2 or 1.4, it was somewhere around 45 grand a year. So, I mean, there's substantial tax benefit to the city out of this parcel, correct?
Yes, and again, there would be no tax abatement on this, so from year one, it would be paying 100% of the taxes.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I have a question for the owner. It says the explanation talks about how this business will be repair. Let me find it again here. Yeah, it says Simple Mining is a vertically integrated Bitcoin mining company that provides hosting, repairs, manufacturing, and sales for both public and private companies across the globe. And I just want to understand better the energy requirements for Bitcoin mining. I believe can be fairly high, right? Oh, okay, right here. Sorry. Yeah. So have you already talked with CFU to clear out what the requirements would be and yeah, feel free to come up here just
Yeah, just go to
and welcome.
We have an existing facility running at CFU. I've already spoke with them about all the power requirements and everything's all good to go there. So.
Okay, so that other facility will shut down and then this new one would take its place?
Both facilities would be continuing to run. Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I've got a question for you. I've heard that these are kind of pun. Is this going to be a high decibel producing facility, or is this not like the other one where you have quite a large amount of sound coming out of it?
There is some sound, but we've looked at the city code requirements. I believe it's 65 decibels from the street, and we won't be near that with the location of our building, the way that it's all designed and everything. So
What's the other one over off of Ridgeway? What's that decibel level?
That's not our location.
That's not your location?
No, yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Any other questions from council? Comments? Okay. So it's been moved and seconded to approve this and authorize the execution for this private development agreement and to approve and authorize execution of the deed without warranty conveying the certain city-owned real estate to Technology Parkway Properties. Moved and seconded and requires a roll call vote. Councilmember Sires.
Yeah. Should have been paying attention. It didn't come up again.
Tabs. Here we are.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and welcome to the Industrial Park. Item 3 is a public hearing on the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the 2023 Sidewalk Assessment Project Zone 1. Is there a motion to receive and file proof of publication?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Madam Clerk, do we have any written communications filed for this item?
I've received one written communication, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk, and that was in the council packet for us.
Correct.
For staff comments tonight, we have Mr. Dave Wiki, City Engineer. Floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Council, tonight's public hearing is for the 2023 Sidewalk Assessment Project, Zone 1. As you see on the map there, we have the city broken down into 10 different zones, and each year we go to, just in sequence. So this year is Zone 1, which means we've completed a complete cycle, 1 through 10, and now we're back at Zone 1. The project involves replacement of deficient sidewalks that are adjacent to various property owners. The project replaces those deficient sidewalks adjacent for those property owners, and then the cost to do so is then assessed back to those property owners. The Department of Justice requires communities to keep sidewalks in compliance with ADA standards. And so to meet those compliance standards, the city has this program, the sidewalk assessment program that we put forth every year to go to each different zones so we can keep up with those standards of the sidewalk. Once the replacement has been completed, we submit a bill to the city clerk. The city clerk then sends notices of that bill in the mail to the property owners, and then the owners have up to 30 days to pay that bill without any interest. Otherwise, then it goes on their tax bill. And so that's our sidewalk assessment program.
Okay, thank you. So with that, do we have anyone wish to speak in public comment for this tonight as part of the hearing? Seeing none, then I'll consider the public hearing closed for this item. And that takes us to 3E, which is a resolution approving and adopting the plan, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the 2023 sidewalk assessment project, Zone 1. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Open for council discussion and questions.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilor Ganfield.
If I may, Mr. Wiki, I wanted to double check. We do provide the opportunity with these notices for a resident to do the repairs themselves, but I'm assuming we require some bonding or something to that effect after the notice for them to do sufficient work, or is that not included in Cedar Falls?
So a resident has a couple of options. They can hire a contractor to do the work for them, or they can pull the permit and they can do the work themselves. Contractors are required to be bonded up to the amount, I think they're maxed out at $5,000.
Okay. But we do not require our residents to pull a bond,
Not if they're doing the work themselves.
even if it's a driveway?
For driveways, I'm not quite sure about that. I'd have to check into that.
Okay.
But not for sidewalks.
Any questions, comments?
Questions?
Please.
What's the criteria if, how does it judged if someone does the work themselves and then do we send someone back out there to assess it? Where's the, I know it's got to be subjective somewhere, or do we have a checklist? How does it work?
So I'll use this year as an example, 2023's assessment for example. Last year, 12 months to 18 months prior, we go out and we go to the zone and we physically evaluate the sidewalks in that zone, and then we look for the deficiencies. If it's deficient, there's different criterias. There's a list of different criterias that we look for, whether it's the sidewalk has got multiple cracks, whether it's heaved up, whether it's spalled and completely deteriorated. We look at all these different criterias and determine, whether it's in compliance or not. We make the determination whether it's a deficient panel or multiple panels. Then we'll add that to our list when we're trying to put together our program. In the fall, we send out our first notification to the residents, letting them know that, look, for this upcoming year's sidewalk assessment program, we're doing this zone, you're in this zone, you have this deficiency. We tell them what deficiency that they have deficient sidewalk panels. When we do look at their panels, we mark them, we put a spray paint dot on them to note that those are the deficient panels. What we've also started doing was putting the actual code of the deficiency on the panel when we mark them. So that information is sent along with the letter that we send to them, is what the different deficiency codes mean and what that is. So they get that first notification in the fall, and then we follow up with a second notification in the spring, and that's given them a time limit on when they can make that repair themselves before we, have it contracted out and have our contractor do it. And then afterwards, like I stated previously in the presentation, any of the work that's done under our contract, we take all those costs and then we present them to the city clerk and to prepare the bill that gets sent back out to the residents afterwards.
So if someone did the work themselves, it seemed, and maybe I was confused from reading in the packet, it seemed like someone had said they did the work, but it didn't pass, or
so
how does
that? So when the work is going on, they have to pull a permit. We inspect. We do typically 2 inspections. We'll go out and we'll do what's called a pre-pour inspection to make sure the form is right, make sure their base is right, make sure it's the right thickness, to give them basically the okay to go ahead and place the concrete. After the concrete is placed, we'll go back out and we'll do a follow-up inspection just to make sure that it's done correctly.
So
it's got the right joining, it's got the right
Yeah.
expansion if needed.
so it has to be repoured if it's deemed deficient?
If it's deemed not done correctly, then we require them to take it out and redo it.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Yes, please.
Mr. Wiki, if a homeowner chooses potentially do it themselves or have the city do it, they get an estimate from the city, my understanding?
What we provided in the past with our letter is an estimated cost of what a typical 4x4 panel or a 5x5 panel might cost.
And the estimate obviously isn't binding because it's going to end up being whatever the cost of concrete is at the time, which could be 8, 10 months later.
Correct. Whatever the bids come in at, you know, we have to, you know, use those bid prices.
Are we only getting one bid typically, or do multiple companies bid?
Last couple of years, we've averaged 2 to 3 bidders.
Okay. Other questions? I saw some hands over here. Yes,
Yeah,
Ms. Whitwer?
I had a question on the photos that were in our packet. Is there a possibility those were from a different zone?
We went out and looked at those panels, and I think those panels are included in this zone.
Okay. Other questions, comments? Okay, thank you. So with that, I certainly do have concerns about the costs as we go forward with it. It says in the packet that doing it through the city will cost more typically, or expected to cost more than if you do it with your own contractor. But as we look at what the bids are, probably not the discussion for tonight, but those final bids that come in, I want to make sure that it's not something that is exorbitant beyond what. Beyond what's reasonable, and certainly having multiple bids should help to keep that reasonable, we'll hope. And as a note for conflict of interest or personal interest, I'm in that zone as well, and I'm one of the people who will be affected by the price when it comes forward. So with that, it's been moved and seconded for this resolution approving and adopting the plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of costs for the 2023 Sidewalk Assessment Project Zone 1, and requires a roll call vote.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That takes us out of the special order of business and into old business, where item 4 is passing ordinance 3030, vacating certain public right-of-way along Hudson Road upon its second consideration. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion from council? Any from the public? Okay, moved and seconded and requires a roll call vote.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And since that is approved on its second reading, it'll come forward to council at one more reading for approval. And if that's approved, then it becomes part of the ordinances. So that takes us over to the consent calendar, where these items will be acted upon by a voice vote on a single motion without separate discussion, unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. Does any council request to pull an item from 5 to, was it 14? Yeah, 5 to 14? Okay, seeing none. Any from the public wish to pull an item from 5 to 14 for separate discussion? More than happy to talk about the items if you have questions or comments. Okay. So with that, is there a motion to approve the items 5 to 14?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that does pass. Thank you very much. And that's over to the resolution calendar then, where these items will be acted upon on a roll call vote without separate discussion, unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. Does any council member request to pull an item from 16 through 42?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Items 41 and 42.
41 and 42? Yes, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
16.
Okay, 16. Okay, and any others from council?
No, that was mine as well.
Okay. Any from the public in addition to what was already pulled? Okay, seeing none, then is there a motion to approve those items on the resolution calendar with the exception of 16 and 41 and 42?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This requires a roll call vote. So glad I don't have to read those anymore. Okay, and
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
thank you, Madam Clerk. Sorry about that. So all that's approved and takes us back to item 16, where it's as a resolution approving the recommendation and appointment of the fire chief. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Councilmember Schultz, you brought this up.
Yeah, I would just like to ask the incoming chief to come up front here, and we can make some comments that I think are relevant to your future.
Well, if he is the incoming chief.
That's where I'm making the comments that I believe that the city is very much honored to have someone of your caliber to have applied for this. Certainly having the, I don't want to take for granted that you were brought up in this organization, right? I mean, coming from Minnesota will certainly allow for that to happen, and your upbringing in Winona, it's Winona, right? Yeah. Winona, and your presence in the ranks have certainly been very much in utmost professional, and your dedication and listening to you present your vision and your passion for the fire department and your long-term commitment and vision is very impressive. And I don't want to take for granted that, yeah, you came from this organization. You could have came from anywhere. You could have came from Winona and came down, and we never would have seen you. In my opinion, you're the best position best person for this position. You have the background, you've got the training, you've got the vision, you've got the commitment. You have the whole package. And having that you've been with our department, that's just neither here nor there in my assessment of your recommendation or your position to go into the fire chief job. So congratulations up to this point, and look forward to the vote on this. So
thank you. Other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Gayfeld.
I think Councilman Schultz certainly said it much more eloquently than I will, and I don't need to add on to those points, but I would also like to say thank you for taking your wife's phone call in the parking lot up in Minnesota all those years ago and being willing to step into this role. Thank you for your service. Certainly, you come highly recommended from folks that you've worked with in the past and the present. So I think that your credentials match up with what we're looking for, and I'm excited for your passion in this role taking our city forward. So thank you for your willingness to serve.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Cyrus.
Being the fire chief is more than just being in this line of all these things that we're going to vote on. That's why I was going to pull you out. I love that you're a Marine. I wish the council was a little more involved in picking you. I don't have a problem with that at all, except for the fact that I represent 41,000 people, as Kelly Dunn does as well, and the mayor. But now that you're here, I wanted to separate you out so that we could vote for you separately so that you know we're behind you. That's all. Thank you.
Any other thoughts, comments? Just note also, there's the professional aspect of your performance, your incredible credentials that you bring to the table, but I also am very honored and so glad that you're being part of our leadership program here because of your sterling reputation in the community as well for so many things beyond law enforcement and firefighting. So I'm very excited to have you as a role model, a very visible role model in our community, and I look forward to the great things you're going to bring to the department in the years ahead. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm very, Mayor, Council, honored and humbled to be in this position. I don't want to sound cheesy and say I won't let you down or anything like that. But yeah, I've worked hard to get to this position, and the time and effort you guys have invested into this program, the department, I want to progressively and positively keep that going in a good direction. And I'm willing to roll up my sleeves, do the hard work. And I just want to get some new, fresh programs coming in. I think I mentioned to some of you guys that were involved in the process. And like I said, just doing the right thing and being honorable. And I appreciate all your guys' support and kind words. It means a lot to me. So thank you, guys.
Excellent. And does anyone from the public wish to speak? Welcome to, if you like. Yes, Mr. Wilson. Name and city for the record, please.
Josh Wilson, I'll give you my address, 100 East 2nd Street, Cedar Falls. From the public perspective, I just want to thank Director Birdie. For those that don't know, there were 2 excellent public interview opportunities. I think it was a Monday, Tuesday. It was back-to-back is what I know, but we had the same cookies both nights, so maybe that's your only knock I'll give you, Director Birdie. But Councilman Schultz was there and Councilman Ganfield was there, so thank you for showing up and doing that. It was a very small group. I think most people are in this room, minus a couple. But it was, anything went. There were no questions that were asked that we were told we couldn't have answers to. It was just a really great, open and transparent process, at least for the public. So speaking of weaknesses, I could only see one in Captain Zolendek, and that's your Minnesota sports thing, but so many other things that quickly made up for that. I'm very excited, and I hope that the council will make him our next fire chief. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Okay, then anything back to council before the vote? All right, so it's been motioned and seconded for the recommendation, the resolution approving the recommendation and appointment of fire chief, and requires a roll call vote.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and welcome to our newest fire chief. We will have a swearing-in ceremony in the near future. We will have family involved in that, and so certainly council and public will be invited when that occurs, very likely at the Public Safety Center. So moving on, the only other items we had, if I remember right, was item 41 and 42. Councilor Ganfield, I'll bring up, so let me read that first. It says it's I guess we can read them together. If council doesn't mind, it's the same item or the same issue for both. So we'll just do them together. So resolution setting June 19th as the date of a public hearing on proposed rezoning from C1 Commercial District to PC2 for property at 702 LeClaire Street, and also associated amendment on land use map by changing the designation from low density residential to neighborhood commercial and mixed use. So that's 41. And then 42 is a resolution setting June 19th as the date of a public hearing on proposed amendments to Chapter 26 zoning relative to allowance on vinyl siding and certain residential structures in the neighborhood frontages on the CDDT Downtown Character District. So with these public hearings, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded, and Councilmember Ganfield.
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I think I speak for all of us that we want to recognize Juneteenth, and so to move the date off of the federal holiday to the June 20th date would be the amendment I would move currently.
Okay, thank you. And that would be in line with the council meeting procedures that says that for a meeting, they'll occur on the first and third Monday, except when the Monday falls on a legal holiday, which now Juneteenth is. It's a federal holiday as of last year. And then the meeting shall be held at the regular hour on the next succeeding day, not a holiday, which would then be June 20th, Tuesday night. So would you want, I guess, amendment would be in order then, if you'd like to make that motion?
Yeah, I thought I did, but motion to amend the date to June 20th
June
for both
20th.
of those resolutions.
Second.
It was moved and seconded. Any discussion from council?
Quick question.
Sure.
So due to council policy, the meeting's just going to happen on the 20th based off policy and everything?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure.
You just don't want 2 hearings.
Yeah, I'm just
All right.
covering
Any
my
other-
bases.
Any other questions or concerns?
Just to make sure I'm on the same page as I'm changing it in my Google Calendar, our next
Yeah.
council meeting will be on the 20th, which is a Tuesday.
Tuesday the 20th, yes.
I'm changing to my calendar too.
And for further clarification, this is just to amend the date. We'll still have to vote on those resolutions.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
So this is well.
So it's been, I'll go ahead and do the amendment then. It's been moved and seconded to amend to make those, the June 19th date, June 20th instead. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that's for both items, but I believe you have to vote for 41 and 42 separately, correct, Madam Clerk? As a,
You could, or
Point
you
of
could
order.
do them together.
Since we chose to take them collectively, I think we
You do a
could vote.
resolution calendar all at once, so.
okay, so you can actually vote on the machine technically? You can do both at
Both
one
of them.
time?
Sure.
Nice. Okay,
Kevin,
let's do it.
Kevin looks like
Yes.
he wants to say something.
Kevin, please.
I do, thank you.
I mean,
So did
Mr.
we,
Rogers.
was that amendment meant to apply to 41 and 42? If so,
Yes.
I missed it. Okay.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to change those two dates to June 20th from June 19th, which are, then also the council meeting will be on June 20th as well. Moved and seconded and requires a roll call vote.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So that counts for both, and takes us out of the the resolution calendar and over to bills and claims. Is there a motion to approve bills and claims
So
for June
moved.
5th?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Excuse me. Any discussion? No. This requires a roll call vote then. Councilmember Sires, issue. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
All voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That passes then and takes us over to council updates and announcements. Do we have any for tonight?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Gamfield.
Miss Director Sheets, sorry. I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I don't need any details, but I wondered if you could have a quick update if conversations are ongoing regarding a potential public restroom in the 300 block of Main Street. Are those conversations ongoing, or do we need to follow up?
Yep, we had a owner approach us, which at the council meeting that night, actually, that same owner had made that offer. And so I sent him a follow-up today about, well, here's what maybe in line with council, since you were concerned that a public-private partnership, what we had in terms of quotes was very, very expensive. I've given him a proposal for a small amount, and we'll see if that's something that we can bring back to the council. But in the meantime, from that meeting, we did decide, and we have made updates to the library restrooms in line with what council directed.
Fantastic. Thank you for that update. Hopefully, Mrs. Beach will review the video later.
Any other updates or announcements tonight? Seeing none, then moving over to council referrals. Do we have any to bring forward tonight?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Gamfield.
Given that it's something we discussed in committee earlier tonight, I'd like to make a referral that we send to staff to remove the council policy on proclamations in accordance with what the committee meeting decided tonight, since we can't actually, unless that was effective in the committee meeting earlier.
I was just trying to remember.
It
It
was,
sounded like it was already going forward to be done.
motion.
So
Okay.
I appreciate the thoroughness. I just don't think it's really necessary.
All right, I rescind
good.
that.
They have marching orders. Okay. So anything else? Seeing none for referrals, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.